The first thing with Lyme disease is getting you the right information. Borrelia bacteria from a tick is not the true cause of what you're dealing with. You have Epstein-Barr virus. No bacteria, even the superbug bacteria, are capable of creating neurological symptoms. You're dealing with an advanced viral condition, which is the true cause of Lyme. We would go after that Epstein-Barr virus. If you were bit by a tick years ago, all that's going to do is suppress and lower your immune system and allow that underlying viral pathogen to proliferate and start causing problems, creating those neurological symptoms. Same thing with the herpes and hand tremors. True Lyme symptoms are neurological. Viruses can only create neurological symptoms. Only viruses can consume toxins, which means they create neurotoxins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth.
And I'm Lyanca.
And this is the Haute Mystic Morning Show. Today we're talking with Quinton Greene.
I had a whole session with him,
Yeah.
and it was pretty damn amazing. So I'm excited to share what my experience was as well. But first up, we have a little bit of Mystic Space Weather News. In today's Mystic Space Weather News, let me just say, you heard it here first. I was talking about the X-class solar flares that we had on Tuesday, and everyone woke up to lots of auroras in the sky that evening. That obviously comes because of those geomagnetic storms that had happened. And it was very fascinating because those hit the lower latitudes. So you had people that were sharing all the way down to Florida, Texas.
Yep.
Now you have to remember that, yes, while it's beautiful, that is charged particles in our Earth's atmosphere. So it does make you feel some type of way. So many could be experiencing if you can't sleep, wired, tired, head pressure, jaw tight, feeling super heavy emotions coming up for you, or overwhelmed and anxious. So again, give yourself grace. Give yourself a lot of water. To follow space weather, sometimes it can be boring, but in the same vein, it also is very important.
It's been exciting lately.
We had those, again, the twin solar flares, the twin X-class, and then the X-class.
Mhm.
And then one last message for space weather news comes to us it's a Palladian message for November 13th. It says, your electromagnetic field is being adjusted to the new light codes that Earth is and has been receiving recently through the solar flares. The geomagnetic storms are nothing to be afraid of because Earth's field is calibrated to filter the light codes. Your field is also being calibrated and to expand and able to hold more of the higher frequencies. See, that feels fun.
Yeah.
And then if you feel somewhat outside of your usual self, make sure you take time to rest, hydrate, move your body, even if it's just gently. You want the energy to move through your subtle bodies as much as possible, including your physical body. We are sending healing and love and light out to all of you.
Thank you. And I have a little bit of morning brew with Woo. Stir the magical potion pot. Today in our magical potion pot, I started to take this based on one of our previous nutritionists, Fallon Jordan, who talks about brain health. It's called PQQ Energy. And some of the benefits that I personally noticed, what it really does is it helps with fat metabolism.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But what I really notice is that my cognitive function is a little bit clickier when I take it. And it actually does light up my brain just a little bit.
I took 2 for the first time because she let me, and we'll see how I do by the end of the call.
She just took them. I will add this to our Amazon shop. Again, that is found at amazon.houtehustle.com, amazon.houtehustle.com. You'll put that up there with our probiotics that people are loving, by the way. I've gotten some real true
Good,
tangible responses about that.
Our resident nutritionist.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. And as we do, I want you to start thinking in the chat if there's something that your body is doing and you've got questions for Quentin, just go ahead and type it in the chat. And I feel like I'm just learning this topic too.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just don't even know what questions to truly ask. I feel like we asked a ton last time.
Yeah. And of course, it's hard to speak to other people's symptoms. We'll let the expert chime in here.
Quentin, welcome.
Just a couple words about Quentin. Quentin is the founder of Green Health and Wellness Regenerative Detoxification Specialist, Iridologist, and a health healing coach. After overcoming years of chronic illness through holistic detoxification, regeneration, He has dedicated the last 5 years to helping others reclaim their health very naturally. His mission is to guide and empower you to heal deeply, restore balance, and step into your highest self. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. In our last session, you shared a lot about your journey and your struggle to really have optimum health. Would you like to start there about what really brought you to this line of work? I know that there's a lot of ways to heal the body, but what specifically brought you to this work?
My earliest memories as a child were those of suffering, severe anxiety and panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. I was chronically sick with viral and bacterial infections. I had a speech impediment known as word blockage. I was brought into the world chronically ill from the start. And that just went right through my entire life, right through my adolescent years, right through my 20s until I hit rock bottom around 31 years old, 32. And I was just fed up. I looked at my life and I was told my whole life that I had bad genetics, that I was just destined to be chronically ill and not feel well. And I realized that the one constant my entire life was allopathic medicine. I've always been under the thumb of conventional medicine.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was just like, I got to try something different. I was like, I can't keep doing this. I wasn't willing to accept the fact that I was going to be chronically ill for the rest of my life, that I was going to have fatigue and brain fog, anxiety and chronic pain and all these different conditions and symptoms and be sick all the time. So I essentially abandoned allopathic medicine for the purposes of chronic illness. And I went down the rabbit hole of the alternative world, which is ultimately how I was led to regenerative detoxification and iridology as well. So it was just a matter of suffering for me. I was just fed up with suffering and I wasn't willing to accept it anymore.
Yeah, good for you. I think that alone is a big decision and turning point for a lot of people because they just keep going in the way that they've always been going.
Yeah, look, no fault of my parents, by the way.
No.
Yeah.
My parents grew up in that generation, going through the 60s and 70s. You just went to the doctor. The doctor, you just did what they told you. You took what they told you. And that's how I was raised. And
Yes.
they didn't know any better. And I say the 80s were the true dark ages of chronic illness. I was born in 1981 and sick right through it, but the 80s were a really bad time. They just didn't know any better. People didn't know to think outside the box. And it took me 31 years to actually be like, wait a minute, something's not right here. And this doesn't have to be this way. It shouldn't be this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was telling my son, and just to reiterate what you're saying about the 80s, I was telling my son that I said, Bryson, there was a time where doctors would smoke in there, and then there was science that kept coming out and saying it was causing cancer. And then you'd find that one doctor that they were able to put on TV, and they was still smoking in his office, seeing patients. And I was like, and forever we lived this way. I was like, so you always have to read between the lines. You have to dig out the research for yourself. I was like, because there will be a narrative for all kinds of things. And I said, and we knew that it was causing cancer, and yet it still was, that was portrayed that way. And so I just think it's really interesting how that is the perception of a doctor. One of the things that I wanted to ask you was, how did you find iridology? It's very precise. And when you did this session with me, you were able to see stuff like that I had breast augmentation, right? You could see the tissue that had, it's like the rings on a tree is how I described it to my son. Like you can see trauma in that way, but how did you find it? You don't see this very often.
Just tell us.
Just tell us about it.
Yeah, I was already healing people when I found iridology. When I started my business, I had no degrees, no certification whatsoever. I started a holistic nutrition course certification. I got about 6 weeks in and I dropped it because I'm not a believer in epigenetics and kind of a lot of the things that they were teaching. And I was already healing people at this time, but I was waiting to find something that really resonated with me. So some type of modality or certification or degree that I felt had it right, or at least close to how people need to heal and what was really causing things. And that was a regenerative detoxification course I took. And as I was in that course through a naturopath, that naturopath was an iridologist as well. So that came across iridology was through a naturopath as I was getting that certification. And once I saw it, I was like, it was so fascinating. I had my own eyes done. And within 2 months, I was a certified iridologist because I just dove right into it and started reading eyes. And it helped. Like I said, I was already healing people. Iridology helped me to heal my clients even faster, more effectively, because it just gave me the upper hand. I could look right in. We didn't have to do any guesswork because a lot of times blood work, imaging, and even symptomology can be misleading or not show the entire picture.
Yes.
Iridology, everything that's been recorded, everything that's happened in your body on a systemic level has been recorded by means of the autonomic nervous system and displayed in the iris of your eye since the time you were conceived. There are no mistakes with it. Your body make mistakes in that way. It's a God-given gift that all human bodies have. It's just been remarkable in how it's helped me to get my clients better even faster.
Wow.
I think your God-given gift was that too, to be able to marry those two together and heal people faster. So that's what I kept hearing in my head when you were talking. I was like, yeah, that's a God thing. My other question for you is, when somebody comes to you and lots of times I think you're finding people will come to you at maybe more distressed times, but what do you say to people who are feeling okay, but they do know that they, like me, I know I need to make changes. So I know that I'm going to work with Quentin for the next year, but it's not something that I would have just thought out generally because I'm not in pain and I'm not chronically ill, like diagnosed. What do you say to people like that?
Yeah, and again, like I said, so we went through all your health. We looked at everything you had going on. We looked at your eyes. To me, you are chronically ill.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that. When I said it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, yeah, I get it.
I have a different definition of what chronically ill is. We've been taught, conventional medicine teaches us just to sweep symptoms and conditions under the rug and just treat them as normal.
Yeah.
We went through your stuff. I was like, to me, this is not normal. Like, you're not supposed to be experiencing these things over the course of your life. It's not just, you're not, so people come to me all the time and they're like, Quentin, I don't have much going on. I'm fine. I have nothing wrong with me. By the time we're done the consult and analysis, we've picked sometimes 7 to 10 different symptoms or conditions they're dealing with.
Yeah, mention a couple of those because I found that super surprising. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. It could be, they'll say, oh, this or that. For me, it was my gut health. And I'm like, every third day or 5 days, I'm like really bloated. And you're like, you're not supposed to feel like that.
Yeah, I would say to you in that spot, could you imagine your life if you didn't have that anymore? When people start thinking that way, imagine your life if you didn't have those seasonal allergies or those occasional headaches and migraines or that occasional inflammation or whatever it may be. Like, just imagine your life without that. Wouldn't you want that?
Yeah.
And then when people start thinking that way, they're like, you know what? You're right. I do have some things wrong with me. I'm just accepting them. I'm just dealing. And to me, that's unacceptable. Yeah. I have no tolerance for any type of symptom or condition now. Something pops up, I'm going right after it. I tell people life is really short.
Yeah.
Don't you feel as good as you possibly can while you're on earth? I think God also wants us to feel as good as we possibly can. We're not supposed to be dealing with all this stuff right now.
Yeah.
We're designed to be happy and healthy and not have chronic symptoms and all these different things. It's not supposed to be this way.
Yeah. I want to talk about two things. One is stress, because I know that so much of this comes from our stress. And I think that I know that stress happens on many different levels through hypnosis. And it seems that you mostly handle the physical stress. But what is your relationship with some of the people who are chronically vigilant and have this emotional stress as well as this physical stress too?
Stress is a really funny thing. And a lot of people talk about stress and they believe that stress is a root cause of chronic illness or whatever the person's dealing with. And I'm not of that line of thinking. What stress does, what trauma does, stress trauma is amazing at suppressing and lowering our immune systems. This is why so many people experience different new conditions popping up, old symptoms getting worse. Things get bad when people are stressed out and dealing with trauma, simply because stress and trauma equal adrenaline. The adrenals are pumping out nonstop adrenaline and cortisol, all these different hormones that are very suppressing to our immune systems. These hormones are acidic in nature. They fuel pathogenic activity. They're tough on someone's liver. So when people are really under it, I always want to go after a person's nervous system. I want to go after their adrenal glands. I want to go after these things. And another thing that people don't understand about stress and trauma, here's something pretty fascinating that I think you both appreciate. When we deal with an extreme trauma or stress, and that corrosive adrenaline is coursing through that person's body. And at the same time, generally, they're getting exposed to bad things. I use the example of, imagine that you have a sudden death in the family. It's very traumatic to you. And you go to the funeral, and after the funeral, there's that luncheon. At the luncheon, you're upset. Trauma, adrenaline's coursing through the body, and then they have a common food at a luncheon after a funeral is, say, a big piece of ham. The ham has nitrates in it, different things in it. You consume the ham. You got these
I don't.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Go ahead. Because I'm still that person. I'm like, oh, the ham.
Oh my God.
Better, it tastes well.
So your average person brings in that ham. The nitrates come into the body. There's so much going on in that body that it can't handle it all. And your liver doesn't want your heart and your brain being exposed to nitrates and this corrosive adrenaline. So what your liver will actually do in these times of stress and trauma, while you're getting exposed to something or ingesting or inhaling, it'll take that toxin, it takes that nitrate, and it takes that toxin from that pork, combines it with that corrosive adrenaline, that experience, that trauma. It ties them together and it buries it deep inside your liver to keep you safe. So those corrosive, those adrenaline and those toxins aren't floating around your bloodstream, getting to your heart and your brain. That's the power of our liver, what our liver will do for us. And deep inside, and it will stay there, further compromising the health of your liver over the years, more sluggish, more stagnant, more maxed out. Then when someone detoxify and cleanse properly, years later, they're digging in that liver, they're pulling stuff out, and finally, it can release that tide of motion with that toxin. It releases it at the same time. And the person will experience that emotion all over again. Toxin, they have no idea. It could have been from 25 years ago. That emotion and toxin that the liver stored for them, they've released it. And they have a wave of, because a big thing with detoxification and cleansing, you have emotional detoxification and cleansing as well. So a client would experience just a wave of emotion and sadness and grief as it releases that emotion and toxin from the liver as you're detoxing and cleansing, essentially. So that's the beauty of our livers when it comes to emotional cleansing, stress, and of that nature.
Thank you so much. I didn't know how you're going to answer that question, and my insides are applauding so much because I 100% agree. I don't know what your point of view is on this, and we'll go there, and then I want to take some caller questions. But what is the viewpoint that you know of as far as animals that were in cages and been just fed corn all their life? And do you have a viewpoint on the difference between a grass-fed chicken and a corn-fed chicken?
Sure. Look, what an animal eats matters in terms of what's going into its soft tissue. And look, I'm not a vegan. I don't subscribe to any trendy diet. I just know what someone needs to do. But I will tell you, there is no real healing power in dead animal flesh, in meat in that way. It has no regenerate power to detoxify or regenerate tissue. With that being said, you could have dead animal flesh, you could have meat that's far better than another meat based off what that animal was fed. And also the adrenaline factor. Yes, those animals were different.
Wow.
A lot of adrenaline is released. And adrenaline, again, in an animal, it's very corrosive, it's very acidic, and can inhibit it can make the tissue less healthy, we'll say. Not that there's any healing power in dead animal flesh anyway, but it can make it more problematic for an individual to consume based off of those type of things. What that animal was eating, what that animal's death was like, what his life was like.
Yeah, I do believe this.
And
there's definitely, yes, for sure.
I just thought it was important to bring that onto this call.
But even from the chemical standpoint too, he's talking about how the adrenaline is a chemical and it goes into the body and the tissues and
to the audience.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I just feel like that's important to bring that awareness up because so many people are like, a chicken's a chicken. And no, I don't really have that viewpoint anymore from doing years and years.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm from a farm here in South Jersey, and my family all around me, they're homesteading. So we kill our own chickens. So I've seen many chicken harvests, and you can see we have all the chickens in a cage. One person grabs, takes them to the spot where they're killed. You can see the chickens as the killing, and my siblings actually they try to hide the chickens from where the actual killing's taking place.
Yeah.
Because you could see the chickens reacting. They know something's going on. And by the last couple of chickens in the pen, as they're being slaughtered, you can see the difference in them.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, there's more adrenaline coursing through that chicken the closer it gets as it's watching other chickens being pulled out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so important for us to pay attention to. Yeah. It was funny that happened on Survivor this season, that they killed one of the chickens in front of the other chickens. And I was like, why would you do that? And the other chickens started like running from the
I
coop.
would. I'm sorry.
Sorry, sometimes I have to put in some of those fun points just to keep it a little livelier.
Small as a chicken brain is, they still know what's coming.
I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm saying.
Sense it in the field, I think.
And when that chicken knows what's coming, those adrenals start pumping out that adrenaline, start pumping out that cortisol. They know what's coming. That's the immediate response of the adrenals in any species when stress or trauma comes into it. It's the release of those hormones.
Yes, absolutely, and 100% agree. Let's talk. I would like to talk for just a tad bit about tap water and your viewpoint around that.
General tap water is packed with metals and things of that nature. So it can be very problematic when it comes to healing. I always get my clients off of tap water. You can't drink your average tap water. You have to get it cleaned.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was talking with Lyanca about not putting coffee grinds and medicines and things like that, and acetone for my daughter who's doing nails down the drain. Yeah, it was and she's really? I'm like, people know this? People don't know this. So I'd like to put this in the show when we can. But let's talk a little.
Also, too, real quick with water, we'll call them the evil people in this world who like humans to be sick. Don't think for a second that they're not attacking our water supply.
Wow.
And using our as a means to keep us chronically ill. They absolutely are. That's not just drinking, but people also forget too. You probably wouldn't drink the water that you shower with. People don't think that way either. You have no problem putting it over your body, but you wouldn't drink out of your faucet. I always like shower heads too, special shower heads to clean out as well.
What recommendations do you have for that?
I have one. I don't know the exact name of the one I have right now, but I can certainly get that over to you. I mean,
Great.
I wouldn't overthink it. Go out and get yourself a shower head that filters out your water. Just start there and don't overthink it.
And are these things that you would be suggesting to your clients on a regular, the things that we wouldn't even think of? I'm like, oh my gosh, is that a thing? I'm so far removed from nutrition, health, and I've been doing a lot in this space of spirituality growth. But when it comes to my health, I think I'm very old school. My grandma cooked and we made tamales and, handmade flour tortillas and stuff like that. And so eating whatever is around is the culture, and you can't even tell people no in my grandma's house. But we're getting better. But we're getting better. And the thing is that I am so far removed. So I feel like I speak on behalf of people who may not be as educated about this kind of stuff as you two are. Are there like a list of different things that you would prescribe or suggest for your clients to do just like on a regular?
Sure.
People aren't really talking about.
Yeah, let me start by saying first and foremost, no human can be where they should truly be in terms of their spirituality, their consciousness. You can't be a truly spiritual, conscious person if you have a body full of toxins.
I know.
Yes, I
know.
I'm
learning.
Yeah.
If some people are pretty high vibration, pretty good in that way. And when they start detoxifying their body, you should see what happens to them. They go to levels that are just phenomenal in terms of their consciousness and what they're able to do. Secondly, yes, obviously, my clients come to me so I can detoxify them. obviously we're going to want to stop the toxins from coming into them as we're detoxing. It just doesn't make sense. So we're always looking at personal care products. We're always looking at household. We're looking at different exposures that people pick up, and we're addressing them all the time. I tell people healing is pretty much 90% diet, 95% what you are and are not putting into your body. And that involves what you're getting exposed to dermally, what you're inhaling, and of course, what you're ingesting. So those other things matter a lot. If you're someone that has, let's say, chronic fatigue or chronic anxiety and panic disorder, and all you do when you come home from work is want to have the ambiance, and you want to come home and you want to have your glass of wine, and you want to have sitting in your scented candle with that smell, ambiance that would help with that.
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
The person doesn't even realize, like, the one thing they're trying to combat by creating this ambiance and the smell and the wine to combat their anxiety issue, they're feeding their anxiety when they're breathing in those toxic chemicals out of that scented candle as they're drinking wine. So things like that. It's not just what you're eating. It's what you're breathing in. It's what you're putting on your skin. I haven't worn cologne in maybe 8 years. I'll never wear cologne again. Cologne is an absolute nightmare. Perfume, I hate to break it to you, perfume's a nightmare. If you're someone, especially with a neurological type issue, any neurological illness, perfume's a nightmare.
It's like it is the most toxic thing on this planet, from what I've heard. Smelly things.
I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. Oh my goodness.
Great. One of the people that's a listener of the show has a chronic illness. It's called FQAD. I don't know exactly what it is. I was wondering if you did and if it's something you can speak of.
FQAD?
Yes.
I've not heard of it.
Okay.
And by the way, they're always they just create new names and new labels to put on people. All I would do was, what are the symptoms? And then I can tell you.
Okay. So it's Alexi, if you want to put in some of the symptoms that you're experiencing, he can talk a little bit to that.
I am a symptom-based guy. Like they're pinning all these different autoimmune. It's unbelievable what they're doing. Just tell me what's lowering your quality of life, and I'll tell you how to fix it.
I love that. What about an ionic foot bath? What are your thoughts about that?
I don't really know. I don't think it could be a bad thing. Any way to pull things out of the body would be good. I've never done one. I haven't felt the need to, but I've talked to some people. I have some clients who try it and think they feel better after they do it. Some don't notice anything at all. So I can't really speak to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It'd be bad for you.
Yeah. Denise asked on the chat, I use crystals to clear my water that I drink non-filtered out of the faucet. Is that sufficient?
I would say no.
Me
I would
too.
say no too.
Yeah. That one I know.
It might help a little bit, but I wouldn't bank on it.
Yeah. Great. Lyanca, do you want to share a little bit about your session? And I want you guys keep sending things in the chat.
Yes, and if somebody wants to raise their hand and ask a question, that would be great too.
Yeah.
So when it was very interesting because I did do the medical history and it went a lot faster than I thought it would. My family doesn't have a really bad medical history. We just have a couple little things. But one of the things that he had brought out, so I'm ADHD, and he talked about, I know, right?
I've never known that.
But what he asked me was, he goes, are you really ADHD? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I felt no. And he also talked about, I had heavy metals in my brain that I could easily, a lot of things that it was very empowering because a lot of things, yes, I'm suffering from, and I do get chronic fatigue here and there. They come on like waves. Yeah. And one of the things he was saying is like, I'm not too far. It's easy to reverse this, but I do have to do the work in order to do it. So that was really empowering for me, but it was definitely eye-opening. I think it was one of those things where I wouldn't raise my hand normally to do it, but because the Iridology was so precise that I couldn't escape it. So it really did hit home. And I don't know, Quentin, if you had any thoughts as you were doing my session or whatnot. I think you felt sorry for me.
Oh, because he just said you're chronically ill. Of course, he's a little sorry for you.
But also because I believed all of these things, and for a long time, we're talking about, I've been suffering from the gut thing for 20 years, and I take X-Lax to just use a bathroom, right? Like just have a regular normal life. And it's just not, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you certainly have some things that you need to go after. And one other thing I tell people, I'm like, look, your bodies are made to heal. They're made to detoxify. You have brilliant natural healing mechanisms. And if you haven't healed yet, it just simply hasn't been your time yet. Everyone has a different time to heal. And look, I hate it, but some people never have that time. I have people in my own family where healing is just not in the cards for them, and their life is suffering with different things, and that's how they'll eventually die. Not everyone has a healing journey in store for them. That doesn't mean their body can heal, and you can absolutely heal. We spoke about the ADHD, if you even did have it. But look, there's no, everyone's dealing with metals in their brain. Depending on where they get it ends up with what symptom or condition you're going to have. And look, if you've got some mercury and some aluminum in that midline canal, you're going to have a little ADHD. Why is it important to get out? Because you're accumulating more aluminum and mercury every day just living here on Earth. So that condition can slowly but surely get worse. And by taking Adderall is the worst thing for ADHD. Because what Adderall does, here's something that you might find interesting. Toxic heavy metals in their brain, they're oxidizing, they're rusting, literally bleeding in the brain tissue.
So terrible.
And sorting out neurotransmitter chemicals. So we have these metals that are very corrosive and oxidating in there. When you take Adderall, Adderall triggers the adrenals to release immediate adrenaline. What does adrenaline do? Adrenaline gets up, saturates the body, saturates those toxic heavy metals and makes them oxidize or essentially rust faster.
Wow.
Ultimately, your condition's getting worse over time. There's the immediate benefit of that medication, but over time, because of the constant adrenaline being created by the adrenal glands in response to Adderall or any amphetamine, even caffeine. Caffeine triggers the adrenal. So when you have metals in your brain and dealing with the metal condition, whether it's ADHD, autism, OCD, speech impediment, anxiety, dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all these bipolar, all these toxic heavy metal conditions in the brain, when you're triggering the adrenals to release more adrenaline, caffeine, amphetamines, all these things, that adrenaline is making these metals in the brain oxidize faster and bleed faster in the brain tissue. They're rusting quicker. So the condition will continue to progress. So that's why I want to get you off Adderall. I want to your brain detoxify, get you off Adderall. I get off Adderall all the time. We have them start right back, and their ADHD goes away. That's something you could certainly fix.
That's definitely empowering.
You don't take Adderall, do you?
I do. I do. I have a prescription, and I take it as needed. But it's gotten worse, and so I feel there are times where the brain fog is a lot. And so that's a crutch. Now I hear something like that and I'm like, I don't want to.
No. I'll tell you as well, brain fog as well, more toxic heavy metals, just in a different part of the brain. That's where these metals get in the brain determines what condition or illness a person's going to have. So you got metals in multiple areas of your brain.
Oh my gosh. But
all you have to do is detoxify.
Yeah, my mom wouldn't even put foil in the freezer or the refrigerator. I just have a sense that this will leach into our food. So you know how like you'd get things wrapped in like after you'd go out to eat in foil and they just hand it to in foil, especially back in the 90s. She was like, I'm not putting that, it's coming out of this foil. And she just had a natural instinct. What is that true that aluminum that you put in the refrigerator leaches, or even if you just put food on aluminum, it leaches?
Aluminum is a nightmare. Aluminum foil is a nightmare, especially if you use a cheap aluminum foil. A good example I use is a cheap aluminum foil over top of a baked macaroni and cheese. Then you put it in the oven. You know, that top layer of your macaroni and cheese is all laced with aluminum.
Oh boy.
So aluminum.
So there's some of the source of it, you guys.
I know. Wow.
Aluminum is in your vaccines. Aluminum is in a lot of, it's in your deodorants. Aluminum's everywhere.
It's
They're
also in
dropping
those big bucket foil-y things where you cook a big meals too. You like literally cook your whole meal in the foil-y thing sometimes.
You're talking about crock pot?
Everyone
I know
has
what you're talking
aluminum,
about.
especially now, but since they're dropping aluminum out of airplanes.
Yeah. What?
The
I didn't know that.
all your chemtrails are packed with aluminum nanoparticles. So there's aluminum all through the atmosphere here. And
is there a simple way to start detoxing this aluminum from our bodies?
it detoxes just the way anything else does. It comes out the same. Mercury comes out the same way as pesticides.
I'm so ready.
Yeah.
Solvents. It all comes out the same way. You just have to learn how to detoxify your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Tell you, we need more than ever before, but our bodies are packed with troublemakers passed down from mom and dad, and then once we pick up, just living life.
Yeah. All right, we have a few symptoms and a few hands up. So let's take a few callers. Dana, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Quentin. So I just have a question about in iridology, when you see an eye, if I had a healed high anxiety and PTSD, does it show the before and then the after, the healing part after? What does that look like?
Yeah, so with a condition like that, I'm going to see weakness in the adrenal glands. I'm also going to see what's known as nerve rings or contraction furrows, these rings that form in the iris of your eye in response to the autonomic nervous system being down. And as you heal, I'll see that area in the iris, which shows the state of your adrenal glands. I'll see that start to change, and I'll see those nerve rings start to go away in the iris as someone starts to heal their nervous system.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Fabulous. And Renee, you're up.
I have Lyme disease, and that has such a multitude of symptoms. And then do you treat that the same as any other as far as detox? And then the other concern is getting herx, tremors.
So first of all, coming from someone that had Lyme disease, the first thing with Lyme disease is getting you the right information. Borrelia bacteria from a tick is not the true cause of what you're dealing with. You have Epstein-Barr virus. No bacteria, even the superbug bacteria, are capable of creating neurological symptoms. You're dealing with an advanced viral condition, which is the true cause of Lyme. So we would go after that Epstein-Barr virus. Maybe if you were bit by a tick years ago, all that's going to do is suppress and lower your immune system and allow that underlying viral pathogen to proliferate and start causing problems, creating those neurological symptoms. Same thing with the herx and hand tremors. That's all viral stuff. Anything you deal with neurological, which Lyme is neurological. All Lyme symptoms, true Lyme symptoms are neurological. Viruses can only create neurological symptoms. Bacteria are not capable of that because bacteria cannot consume toxins in the body. Only viruses can consume toxins, which means they create neurotoxins. Bacteria can consume foods you eat, which means that it'll create bacterial waste. But there's no neurotoxins, which viruses can create, which attack someone's nervous system. So we would go right after your Epstein-Barr virus, and maybe a little shingles, non-rational shingles in there. Your human herpes virus could be involved. But these are all underlying viral conditions in your body that medical science doesn't have the technology to see yet. But if you got tested for Epstein-Barr virus, you'll show us past infection. You might even remember having mono when you were young.
Yes, I do believe I've had that, and I've also had shingles.
Yeah. Let me tell you this.
Active shingles.
The bacteria from a tick is the least of your worries right now. It has nothing to do with what you're dealing with. You have a viral condition. Medical science makes a ton of money off this whole Lyme theory and Borrelia bacteria. It's a bunch of nonsense. You've got a viral condition.
And then would the detox be the same, or would you?
Sure, yeah, because look, to me, something like a virus, we knock it back or pull it out of the body. To me, that's the exact same thing as toxins. We have pathogens, we have toxins, we have all these different things. We just detox the body of everything. By the way, your virus's favorite food source is mercury and aluminum. So I'm sure they're always present in anyone with a Lyme diagnosis. So we're going after metals as well. You just need full body detoxification. I don't overthink it. Let's just go in and start cleaning you out.
Okay. Thank you.
And all those symptoms go away. When you tell your doctor, I'm done with this Borrelia bacteria nonsense from a tick.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you for, I feel that's very real. It's like energetically, it
Oh, I'm
feels so
inspired.
good.
I'm
Like,
so inspired.
I'm just so mad at the Western medical doctors in a way. Like I have doctors in my family and
Yes.
I'm just like, I wouldn't even talk to them about stuff in a way because they're just so
You have to talk to doctors
close-minded.
about,
And
yeah,
they're taught to be that way too.
Yeah, they are taught to be that way because they could lose their license if they don't follow all the rules, basically.
this country makes a tremendous amount of money off Lyme disease. And but just go look at the origins in Lyme, Connecticut, back in the 70s when how the whole Lyme theory developed. It's unbelievable how it's become what it is today, based off just a couple of doctors who recognized that some people were dealing with some chronic fatigue and some joint issues. They happened to have bit by a tick at some point in their life. They all tested positive for Epstein-Barr virus, but it was a way for them to keep the blame off the industries, the classified medical research and science who were messing around with Epstein-Barr virus back in the 1920s and making it mutate and releasing it on humans. So let's just blame it on a tick.
Those doctors must have been smoking in their offices.
Well, and they saw the money maker thing and they went for that.
Yeah.
And this is so true
Yes.
about big farm and this industry and even our food industry and how everything is like grown off of high fructose corn syrup, which is like made with mercury. And it like messes up all your hormones and oh my gosh, I can go on rants and rants around certain things because when I got off high fructose corn syrup, my entire digestive system changed. And it was just that one item that I took out of my diet that time. And I won't touch the stuff because it makes me have cravings and then it makes me get fat and then it makes me have more cravings. And it's just, my brain even thinks differently when I'm on the stuff.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing here. I see that all the time. That last person who I spoke to, I don't remember her name,
Okay.
with the Lyme. How long do you think she's been going on trying to heal with the wrong information?
Oh, God.
This is what really bothers me. You can't heal without the right information. You need to be equipped. She finally knows what's actually causing her symptoms now. She could have been dealing with this for 2 decades for all I know, going after some myth of a tick bacteria. It burns me up because no one has the right information on what's causing their symptoms. And healing's hard enough even with the right information. Then you have to figure out the right protocols. But if you're not even in the same ballpark when it comes to what's causing something, how are you supposed to heal? So it's really sad in that way.
Yeah. And I feel like because we do energy healing work here, I feel like that people do spiritual bypass around a lot of this stuff. They will get even the intuitive gut. Maybe I should change my diet or maybe I should change my eating habits.
I don't have that.
And they go, screw that. Just throw some energy on it or something stupid like that. It's both. It's everything. Do you want to live well or do you want to live or do you want to spiritually bypass all this?
Gotcha.
So anyway, I'll get off my high horse here, man.
Well, no, look, this is the reason why we do the show, right?
Yeah, we want everything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I will tell you, what you're saying is not wrong. I deal with people who are in that very spiritual, very what feels right for me type thing. And that's great. That doesn't work all the time when you're trying to heal from something. Like sometimes there's a complete neglect of what's happening in terms of the troublemakers that have gotten in your body. Sometimes you can't spiritually bypass certain pathogens and toxins in your body. And it's not all about what feels good for you and what your energies are telling you. It helps, but you can't discount what's gotten in your body, and you can't bypass that energetically without going in and doing the work to detoxify. You can't eat whatever you want to eat and get exposed to whatever you want to get exposed to, and then just meditate it, energy work it off. It doesn't work that way.
I think Jesus might have been able to, but I'm not sure that we could.
Yeah, Jesus didn't have to deal with what we deal with.
True, truly.
True. We have so much in our environment
And
today.
so much kind of evil coming towards us.
Yes, things have been, and all the different ways.
Bastardized.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I tell
again, why we have creating awareness with someone like you and having Jeneth talk about it as well. I
And
feel
I'm not opposed to energy work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It has to be done in conjunction with detoxification of your body, because we're just up against, we've got too much stuff in our body. I like energy works and different things like that, and meditation in conjunction with, as an additive, as an add-on to a true healing program.
And let me remind you, some of the most spiritual leaders they are proponents of fasting.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is because we do connect internally with our bodies, and there is a sense of detoxification that happens when
we've had people on the show that says do lunges to get this out of your body.
And so you look at the Bible, you look at the Quran, there's different places that do, they say to fast for 40 days and 40 nights, right? What does that really look like? And that is so that they can have a clear connection to the spirit.
Yeah.
And just like you started the call with me, you're like, it's harder to have a spiritual connection if you're just running this high toxicity in your body.
Quentin, how are you on time? Because we have a lot of questions. Are you okay to go another half hour or 20
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, you're good.
Yay, thank you. Okay.
Everybody's just, I love this conversation.
This is such a great conversation. And I want to tell you how to work with Quentin now, and then we'll give you some reminders towards the end. But we've twisted his arm and asked him to really give you a discount as far as getting in and working with him. Quentin, let's talk about that, and then we'll take some callers if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Tell us what it looks like to work with you.
Go ahead.
So if you
it seems like you're breaking up just a bit.
Jeneth will bring up the special offer.
And I'm going to bring up the special offer.
So you can take a look at it. Basically, it's the session that he did with me. And let me tell you how informative and empowering it was. Like that time. And now I know what's going on with me. Now I have a plan, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The first thing that anyone wants to do is get in and do the iridology analysis and consult. It's first and foremost. Before, do you still have me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, the iridology analysis is where someone wants to start. That's where you get in. We do an in-depth look at your health, what's going on inside of you. We look at your health questionnaire. I put things together for you, how things are working, what's happening in your body. We look at your family history, how things are moving through your family lines. And when you're done that, generally the person feels much better about their outlook in terms of their health and their ability to heal. And after that, obviously, they have the option of working with me and doing the actual healing program. But that's where you want to start. Have your eyes analyzed. Let me get you the right information. So you finally have the right information on what's going on in your body, and you feel much better about your outlook here and when it comes to healing.
Yes.
Yeah. We do have a 2-pay option with this as well. Make sure that you choose the 2-pay option if you would like it as your 2-pay option.
Yeah, you do have to go and manually click the drop down so you can see that other option there. It's a little tricky, but it is there.
Fabulous. Let's go ahead and take some other callers and just proceed. The link again is hautehustle.com/Quentin. Of course, if you're watching on hautehustle.com/live, you'll see this interview and a big button to click on that link to get the special offer.
Yep.
Great. All right, Joe, you're up. You're muted though. Okay, there you go.
There we go. You pegged my attention when you started talking about nervous system stuff being viral. I've had a chronic tremor in my left hand for quite a few years. Was told by a neurologist because my dad had Parkinson's. I inherited that tremor, but I didn't get the Parkinson's. And I'm curious now that maybe that was right information. I want to know what you have to say about that.
Yeah, so with tremors, you're dealing with viruses that are feeding off toxic heavy metals. Your dad could have passed down his toxic heavy metals. That doesn't mean it goes to the exact same spot in the brain that causes Parkinson's. These metals can get passed down. You pick up new metals that find other places in the body, but they act as a major food source for something like an Epstein-Barr virus. And when a virus starts feeding off of toxins, toxic heavy metals, it has to use the bathroom. And when it uses the bathroom, it spews out, it emits what's known as a neurotoxin. It takes that toxic heavy metal, it remanufactures it, and expels it as a more poisonous, highly methylated toxin that, depending on what strain of virus you have, what toxins it's feeding off of, determines what condition or symptom someone's going to have. So you're just dealing with a viral condition, a virus somewhere in there in the body, probably in that liver, feeding off toxins. It creates the neurotoxins that are creating these tremors in the hand.
Wow.
Pretty simple, actually.
Thank you.
Wow.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Me a whole new direction to go.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Yeah.
These viral with toxins, all tremors, viral with toxins.
What are the first steps for people who know that they've got something systemic like that Epstein-Barr? Where do they start with detoxes? There are some simple, tiny things that we could add here.
Get off processed foods.
Okay.
You know, that's always first and foremost.
Right.
You can't heal on a diet full of processed foods. Any person with half a brain would recognize that in this day and age. The information's everywhere. Processed foods are bad for you and are going to fuel whatever condition or illness or disease or cancer you're dealing with. So always get off processed foods.
Okay. Number one, that would be the highest on the list is get off processed foods.
Yeah, there's other foods you need to get off of, but starting, like, obviously eating cakes and treats and these different processed things they're not natural to the human body. So that's the first place you want to start. You want to get rid of the junk food.
If there was
Always.
if there was a diet plan that, I know you said you didn't do one, but if there was something similar that you have an affinity for, what would it look like?
Sorry about that.
Like some people do Atkins, like which ones are like, you're like, no.
Like I know Candida is a really big systemic thing too that people have. I mean, it's like there's so many hundreds and gazillions things here.
Yeah, there's so many trendy diets out there. I don't subscribe to any of them.
Yeah.
You know,
you
I've
said
got
that.
I've got clients coming to me from carnivore diets. I've got clients coming to me from vegan diets, clients coming to me from paleo diets, the autoimmune diet, whatever one that is now. It doesn't matter. I have clients coming to me from all different types of trendy diets that aren't working for them. I only know what a person needs to do to heal when they present whatever symptoms and conditions they have. Everyone's a little bit different with the foods I'm recommending, the herbs I'm recommending, the cleanse. And I'm not one who, and also too, the diet changes over time. A true good detoxification program, that diet needs to change over the course of a couple months. You can't just break someone in with some extreme diet towards the end of my program, that level type diet. I don't want to start one of my clients on that diet.
Yeah.
Way too hard. Our bodies, especially our livers, have way too much poisons in them. They release all at once, very detrimental. There's a right and wrong way to detoxify. So the diet has to start somewhere, and the diet may not look a whole lot like that by the end of the detox program, depending on what the person's diet's like when they start the program with me. Everyone's got different diets when they come in. So I have to work with what they're already doing and then start to transition them in a direction that's going to get them healed.
Through the eyes, can you
I'll say the worst diet right now, obviously a processed food diet, but I have more people coming to me from carnivore diets than any other
I
diet.
knew you were going to say that for some reason. That's interesting. Okay.
It's a nightmare diet for someone. The problem is people get on a carnivore diet and they have a little improvement in some symptoms right away. That's because they usually get off processed food.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because they're not doing the carbs and the processed
foods is going to help someone to feel better. Doesn't mean it's a good diet, but you could go vegan and get rid of processed foods and feel better. You can go paleo, get rid of processed foods and feel better. Carnivore, get rid of processed foods and feel better.
Right.
But then the problems always kick back up and the real things start to happen because they're not good diets for what they have going on. But any diet that limits or reduces processed foods is going to help someone to feel better in the short term.
Thank
Got
you.
it. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. I think I'm excited to have a session.
I know.
I feel like it's time and I'm ready. I'm ready to share and document this whole journey.
I know.
Because I'm just ready to get fit and really feel great in 2026.
And that was why it was so important for me to be completely honest on my questionnaire. Isn't
You
that
were
weird?
gonna lie?
No, it's not gonna be like I don't know. Is that weird? Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
But make myself like not think that I'm doing as at least I am.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, I put my exactly what I eat, what's been medications, anything that's newer to my body. I definitely was completely because I want healing.
Yeah. So what?
I know someone just commented they had type 2 diabetes with neuropathy. To that individual, type 2 diabetes, obviously the pancreas is involved, but that's a true liver issue. That's become maxed out, sluggish, and stagnant, and lacks any stored glucose. That's the true start of any type 2 diabetes. Always liver, and that's a straight dietary fix. Very easy to fix type 2 diabetes. Incredibly easy to fix.
Wow. Can neuropathy be completely reversed? My sister has a little neuropathy.
Neuropathy is just viral.
I knew he was gonna
Absolutely viral. Foods you eat, viruses, toxins. The true cause of inflammation, nerve pain, is always viral, along with acidosis of your lymphatic system. You're backed up lymphatically. You're backed up in your own waste, which is acidic in nature. Your body that's acidic is always going to hurt a little bit. You'll have some inflammation, neuropathy, chronic pain. But the true cause is when those viruses get in there and start feeding and creating viral waste and viral neurotoxins. And Epstein-Barr virus's favorite, it's the neurotoxin Epstein-Barr virus creates is incredibly inflammatory to the nervous system, the people's nerves. So all neuropathy is viral, with just viruses feeding, go into the bathroom throughout that person's body, and more viruses get in a certain area, you get neuropathy in that area.
Oh,
golly.
God, I feel so grateful for
I know.
Somewhat healthy body. Now I'm thinking that I might get my eyes looked at and I'm going to go, oops, maybe I'm not as good as I think.
I'm just grateful that Quentin is here taking up the charge and really.
I feel like that you're the leader of the movement Out Hustle because I love this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you one thing, no one is as healthy as they think. Nobody.
Certainly. I know that I need to make some changes for sure, especially I'm even aware of the candida when I let it come up and when my tongue gets coated and things like that, because that's been how I don't know how to diagnose some things. My tongue gets coated. I know that I need to make some changes. And right now it's a little coated.
I will tell you that Candida is one of those trendy diagnoses that they just slap on people. Candida is not near the problem. Candida is needed. Candida, if you think you're probably dealing more with bacterial issues in the GI tract, undigested fats and proteins, things of nature. They just like doctors don't know, so they just say it looks like Candida overgrowth. You've got a fungal problem. Which can happen sometimes, but not near as often as people think. Candida is not their issue. It's usually strep bacteria in their GI tract.
I
heard you say that.
Yeah, for a while I had a leaky gut. That was another one of the key words that I used. Some herbs from an acupuncturist to heal my leaky gut. And then now they just call it dampness. The other part of this that I'm working through. That's just a little more.
Other bacteria and undigested fats and proteins accumulated in the intestinal line. And when those digested fats and proteins start to putrefy, become rancid, they release an ammonia gas that seeps through the intestinal walls and GI tract. That's actually leaky gut. If your gut was actually leaking, you have sepsis. So leaky gut actually undigested fat proteins that are coming rancid in the intestinal lining and stomach lines.
You're breaking up a little bit, so I feel like we're gonna wrap up here. And he just fell off. So maybe we wait or we wrap up here?
I think we wait for just one more second. But this was just an amazing conversation. We're so blessed to have him join us and take up this charge for us.
I really feel like this is the next generation of health anyway, that more and more shows are having conversations like this.
Thank you.
Wow. Quentin, thank you. My gosh, I feel like we've learned so much on this session, and I feel like people are, yes, of course I want to live my best life.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I know that about you. What's
But again, I'd be happy to come back on and we can change the topic up. So many things I could talk about. It's endless when it comes. I'm always happy to come on.
great? And as some of the guests have experiences with you, maybe they can share some of their testimonials and their stories and what's changing over the next seasons, right? Absolutely. I think it'd be great to have you on every season for sure. Wow.
Thank you.
Any
Kind of parting
parting
words for us?
words?
Yeah.
Look, we're heading into the holiday season here. This is where a lot of people, their chronic illnesses get worse. It's not just the stress of everything, it's the bad foods that you start eating. I always tell people, like, you can absolutely heal through the holidays. It's not like I have a lot of clients that just signed on in October. They're going to heal right through the holidays. And that doesn't mean you can't have fun and enjoy your holidays and eat some things that aren't the best for you, but you could still start a healing journey. You could still start getting yourself healed up and cleaned up right through the holidays as well. And I always tell people, if the kettle's hot, you got to go after it. If you feel like this is the right thing for you and it's time for you to start a healing journey, start one. Don't put it on the back burner. So many people put healing on the back burner. They keep finding reasons to put healing on the back burner. Oh, it's the holidays and summertime comes. I'm going to be at barbecues and the beach and this and that. Any time of year, you can find a reason not to heal. Anytime.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need to heal and it's the right, just go for it. And
I agree.
people, just leave it up to me and I'll figure it out for you. I'll teach you how to navigate a healing journey, no matter what time of year it is or what holidays are coming or what trips you have. It doesn't matter. You could still heal.
I love it.
Yep. Super inspiring.
So inspiring.
Thank you, Quentin.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Please have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, just a couple announcements. Do we have any announcements?
Yes, we do. We have an event. We have a new summit coming up. Mark your calendars. It'll be all around the new year. So perfect for those who are coming off of healing. So let's say that you got started and you're starting off your new year with some healing. And we're also going to be doing some Black Friday specials. So we're going to do 25% off on anything that we host. So we'll make some really fun special offers for you. Not all of them are going to be up there, but we're going to choose some really great ones for you. So if you are doing some shopping for the family, make sure just to keep a little nugget for yourself so you can come and join us on that Black Friday with the 25% off of some special offers. And that'll be really great.
Yeah, we have a merch brand coming out. We expect that out in December, which will have shirts, mugs, hats, and a few other things. If you're liking some of the mystical branding and you want to be a part of it and you want to support us, we'll look for that. We're also getting a brand new website. And we're really excited to bring you some really cool new things next year that we're going to keep a little bit of a secret for now.
The summit, to make sure you're marking your calendar, it is January 5th through the 9th. So that Monday through the 9th, we're going to have 3 speakers a day. The lineup is shaping up to be very fun. And it's all going to be right at the beginning of the new year. So we start to take care of ourselves and not knock off our mic, but take care of ourselves and each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And until next time, we'll see you next Tuesday and Thursday. We meet same time, same place every week. And until then,
be sure to like and subscribe and share this with your friends.
And take a little time to enjoy the woo. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.